ladies and germs, it is Joker here, and today I am bringing you a brand new series on Minecraft Bedrock Edition. We are doing Mob Farms 101. So, before we get started with today's episode, I want to say a massive thank you to TNC for all his advice that he's given me as far as recording, and all the help that he has done with the Discord server. The link for that server is in the description below. So come over, say hi, and let's chat about Minecraft. And secondly, to all you that watch me and my subscribers, thank you for the support for the last 2 years. I know I'm not the biggest channel on the planet, but the fact of that you are still sat here watching and listening to me drone on is amazing. I love reading your comments and I love seeing the responses that I get back on videos. Please keep it up, because it's what makes me want to record. When I have somebody turn around and go, that video was amazing, I'm like, man, I want to keep recording. Cool. But anyway, today our plan is to be messing around with, and you can probably see it below me, mob spawners. Now, I would not have been able to do this video if Gruva Guy had not done the original video in the first place, showing how mobs actually spawn and their rules. Now, I've been doing some testing and they have changed ever so slightly, but we'll get to that in just a moment. But first, let's actually check out the spawning area and how that differs from Java Edition. So this is actually the Bedrock spawner area, and just to show you that it is a spawner in there, I am currently using the new texture pack, or the beta texture pack, just because the glass is a little bit easier to see and these lines aren't so harsh. But anyway, this is our center block and the spawner is directly below it, and the same as you would find in Java Edition, you'd have to come out 4 blocks, but instead of then having to have a straight line to make it a square box, it's actually a diamond. So if you go out on all 4 sides of 4 blocks and then fill that area in a diagonal, which if you go from the middle block here and go diagonal, it's just 2 blocks out. That's all it is, off the corners. Which means a lot less work when you're in survival, cutting out the area. But it does make the water streams a little bit more difficult, but I will touch on that a bit later on in the video. We are currently, though, going to be looking at the red area here. So red concrete and red glass. This is the spawning area that the game will check for spawnable spaces. The grey glass here is actually a very grey area, because if a too high mob wants to spawn, say on this block here, and you've got a solid block here, then the algorithm will have to reset, because it's like, I want to spawn here, oh, there's a solid block here, can't spawn there, and it will have to do a whole check again. So just make sure that when you build these, have a 2 block gap above the spawner to your ceiling. Otherwise you will find that you're not going to get very many spawns and the system won't reset properly. Let's get rid of those, thank you. And if you're sending them up, exactly the same again. If their feet are in this level and these were solid blocks, this would also cause you a slight issue, but not so much, because it would go, this is a spawnable space, this is a spawnable space, spawn. And of course, as many of you know, that mobs will just go and fall from this. I don't know why there's 3 pieces of glass there, sorry. Right, so let me just quickly change the time of day and we will actually look at some live spawning. Let's go to midnight. So, if it's got a bit dark, I do apologise. I'll have a look in the editing to see if there's anything I can do. But let's knock these blocks out here to the spawner. And instantly, as you can see, we've got a skeleton spawned with his head here. Now, the only reason that that is allowed with this setup is because this is a transparent block. If it had been a solid block, that would never have happened. And from what I can tell, there is actually a limit to the amount of mobs that you can have within the spawning area. And that is 6, as far as I can tell anyway. I don't know, I can't spawn them in like that, unfortunately. Okay, so I will wait till we have 6 mobs spawned here, and I will be back very shortly.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so as you can see, we currently have 6 mobs on this top layer. Now, if I come underneath and start knocking these blocks out, you will notice that I'm not getting any spawns. And like I said, that is because if you have mobs within the red area, and there has to be 6 mobs within that red area, the spawner will refuse to spawn. I'm not entirely sure why, but as you can see, there is 2 there, 2 there, and 2 there, and they are currently taking up the spawner cap. And this is now where I'm going to mention in about the water, because for this setup you actually have to do some very strange water mechanics. Now, obviously you know that this is more than 8 blocks. If I just go and get myself a bucket of water, right, and stick it there, you'll notice that it doesn't even come close, because really you want to push them to this block. And then if you then go and put it into the corners here, you'll also notice that then you end up with this. And that's not really what you want. You could, if you wanted to, not in fact have that, and you could just drop this down 1 block in a half semicircle, but then your issue is that, say here, mobs are going to get stuck again. So I've come up with a slight workaround, and if I just remove that there for the moment, and I come round the back, I'm going to take the black glass so that you can see, or shall I use the let's use the grey so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Between that block there and that block there, if you go ahead and place a block there and then bring 2 over and remove these 2 here, so you have an extra space just there, and place your water in there and do that on both sides. So again, come to here and place a block so it's more of a, like this is one just poking out, then pull 2 over and up, and then knock out these 2 side pieces of glass and place the water in. Obviously, of course, you would then cover both of those up, but in survival, of course, you'd be inside that, so you could just knock out those 2 blocks. Then if we come inside the spawner, or at least the killing area, and placing our 2 water buckets at the side, and here at the end, you'll see that we get pushed straight to the middle, no matter where we are. Well, actually, no, there is 2 dead spots, unfortunately, where I am stood here, and right here. Yeah, there. And unfortunately, there is really nothing that can be done. I have tried different places, putting the water and stuff, but this is the only way that I found. But you usually find that the skeleton will very quickly move, and that movement will be enough to then push him back to the center stream and to here. And that's, of course, where you would drop him down to his untimely death, unfortunately. And the reason that I have dropped this 3 blocks is because if a mob is in the water and they decide to bob up and down, their head, if this was only a too high area would every now and again be going into the spawner's cap area, or at least the spawner's spawnable area. So you want to try and avoid that when moving them away from the spawner, mainly because it's going to stop the spawner from producing any more mobs, and it'll just make it extremely inefficient, and that's the last thing you want when you want to sit there for half hour and get 30 levels quickly. And also with a spawner, as far as I can tell, the mob limit on a spawner is 200. But if I really would not push it too far. I think it's about an hour and a half. I don't think I've ever done it to the point of it won't spawn anymore, due to my frames go to about 1 frame every 5 minutes. It's really not worth it, because you can actually completely ruin your world, because then you can't load it. Even if you try and load it in peaceful, the game then tries to remove all of the hostile mobs in peaceful, and of course the game will still crash. And because we don't have MC Edit on the Xbox, there is really nothing that you can do, and you will lose your world. I've done that many times testing. It's not fun. Anyway, I do believe that that's all the information I have for you. So, plan is, next week we will do the killing chamber for, not next week, the week after even. We will do the killing chamber for the skeletons, so we've got some redstone in that. I do hope you will join us, so that you can suffocate these, and literally they're only a hit, and then of course you can either hit them or use potions to kill them. But I will show you how to set that up in 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks after that, get ready for this, guys. I've been working on this for some time. A zombie spawner that you get the zombies from, and then converts automatically by pressing one button. You don't have to worry about trying to pick up a water block or sit there waiting, and then you've got to press the button to kill them. You literally press a button, water gets dispensed and turns the zombies into drones, then suffocates them to 1 heart, and at the same time also separates the baby zombies out and does the same to them as well. It's a hell of a lot of redstone, but it's worth it to say if you want tridents. Instead of having to farm them out the ocean, you can actually just use a spawner, which I actually come across by accident, I will be honest. But anyway, ladies and germs, that is all the time I have for today. I do hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, hit that like button, and if you've really enjoyed it, then don't forget to subscribe. And also, don't forget to go and check out the Discord channel. Link is in the description below. But anyway, I've been Joker, and I will see you in a mini money mo. Ta-ta for now. Woo!